following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome to the MSP North podcast, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. Blaine, we got a good show for him today. What do you say?
Well, as long as the weather holds up, we'll have a great show and just as great weather heading into this weekend. Tonight should be pretty fun weather-wise, getting down to, I think, the 70s for Thursday night football. But, really hoping the rain stays away this weekend, Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone who can probably agree with that sentiment is Reynaldo Pena, head coach of the Northwest Vikings. Reynaldo, how you doing today? See if we got Reynaldo here. I think we had him on hold. Making sure we got him here. Coach Pena there?
I am here. How are you?
We're doing good, man. Thanks for joining us today. Here to talk a little Northwest Vikings football. So you guys won your first game of the season against Stewart County, 35-0, a game that you guys lost almost by the same score last year, 35-0, showing big time improvements from last year's team to this year's team. What are some of those improvements that you guys have seen on the field so far?
Well, the first thing I think we've improved on from last year to this year based off of that game is our ability to control the line of scrimmage that week. We were very aggressive, and we worked really well at our blocking and just opening up good lanes for our running game. Defensively, it's been night and day. We rally to the football. We try our best to tackle really well. And we just try to get back there and do what we're supposed to do and hold each other accountable this season, more so than last.
Yeah, you mentioned controlling the line of scrimmage. Who are some guys up front that you've seen really opening up some lanes?
Well, I'll tell you, we have a fascinating right tackle in Joseph Richardson, who moved to left tackle for us this season. And he's been doing exceptionally well as a young junior. And then our guy, Lorenzo Johnson, who's our communicator, all up and down the offensive line, just to make sure that everybody knows their responsibility. And I can't stop raving about Caleb Koski. As a freshman, he started, and he hasn't given away that starting position at center for us, and does really well. To be under the lights at his age, at his, being a sophomore this year. He's just wise beyond his years.
Coach, you described one of those linemen there as fascinating, and I find that kind of fascinating. You don't really hear that term about linemen. Is it the position change that really fascinated you about him? I mean, what sticks out about this guy?
Well, the fact that Joseph Richardson, it doesn't matter how late we have practice in the summer, 5 to 8, or if it's just a normal school day. I mean, after practice, you're getting ready to go. You make sure everybody leaves, and you just see him over there in an open grass area still working. He had mastered being an exceptional right tackle, and he's very, very intelligent. But things happen, and players get injured, and so forth. So his thing was, we asked him to move to left tackle to make sure, we protect really well. And he just, it looked like it would frustrate anybody else at this level as far as moving from right to left tackle. But he just did the same thing, went back out there in an open grass area and worked on it with some teammates. And, sometimes you got to kick that kid off of campus to make sure he gets home. But he just works so much, and it's not just weight room, it's not just classroom, it's just doing things on his own that a lot of guys probably wouldn't even think about doing. He's just an overall great young man.
Going into that first week of the season against Stewart County, you got the 35-0 win, you got the shutout, and that was the first shutout, and Brady and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that you had, since you had taken over the program. Last season, you guys had 0 shutouts. You had 1 win against Whites Creek, if I'm not mistaken. But how did the expectations change this year, knowing that you're already off to a start that you couldn't have imagined last year with, at least on the defensive side?
Well, first it started with, I'm going to put it out that it starts with me. It started with my mentality and making sure that I was able to lead these young men the correct way. So I went back and looked at, I gave myself only a few days, and then I went back and looked at all of our film to see what we needed to fix. And I wrote down goals for myself and for our program. And then after that, it started with our leaders, our up and coming leaders. So, I'm going to put a little bit out there to y'all, but those young men went to the state championship game last year in December, and me and my son were down there as well. And, it was about 6 or 7 up and coming seniors at the time. And they just wanted to see what championship programs look like, the championship mentality looks like. We saw the Summit Oakland game, and we sat around and we watched the whole thing through from start when they were warming up all the way to the celebration. And that kind of sparked them to understand the drive and determination that you need to have that championship mentality. And then from there on, it resonated throughout our whole program. We understood that we didn't do enough, we weren't working hard enough, and we made improvements to push these young men to a different level and a different form of limit. But it's still a work in progress. We're not perfect, and we had a bad game last week, of course, and we just gotta go on from there and get back to Viking football the way we play, and just keep that mentality rolling.
Yeah, that's a pretty special thing for players to want to be able to do, especially making that drive over to Cookeville to just kind of see what championship football looks like. And of course, championship football requires some great players, and you guys have a pretty explosive combo on offense with Raymond Rodarte and Bobby DeMyers. Tell me what makes those two guys special, and what makes their connection so dangerous for opposing defenses.
Well, with Bobby, what makes Bobby special in the sense of him on the field is his ability to learn so fast. He's very intelligent when it comes to playing receiver. He has no fear. He's gonna make tough catches in traffic. He's gonna, work better to block his behind off, and he just has so much. His work ethic and desire to be better is just a different level from a lot of kids that I've seen so far here at Northwest. With Raymond, he's just a brilliant young man. The kid just overnight just improved as a quarterback. And then, me playing quarterback in my, past, we just try to make him better every day. But he is solely one of the hardest workers we have. He's a monster in the weight room. He's got a great, GPA in class and works his butt off there. But, with them together, we just know I call them lightning in a bottle. Because the second you let it loose and we run plays that's designed for, them to make big plays, it's going to be amazing. And we got to do more of that. We definitely have to do more of that and improve on that because, they've been well in the summer. They've been well in Stewart County, but we got to get that connection even more so we can put points on the board. But they're two very special individuals when it comes to on the field, and then off the field, it's all about their character. They understand that.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Ronaldo, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck this week against Whites Creek as you guys go to make your record 2-2, and I will look forward to seeing the result of that. Thanks, man.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
Thanks,
It's our pleasure, man. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Jamie Pennington, head coach of the East Robertson volleyball team. Stick around.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
And we are back on the MSP North podcast here. Great show already. Thanks to Northwest head coach Reynaldo Pena for joining us. And now, Brady, we're going to turn our attention a little bit to volleyball. We welcome in East Robertson volleyball coach Jamie Pennington. Coach Pennington, thanks for your time today. How are we doing?
Hey, guys. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, to kind of start off here, Coach, it couldn't have been a much better start for you. I'm sure, you know, kind of looking at this season, looking at the players that you guys had lost from last year, and then still getting off to a 10-2 start and kind of taking some dominance over some other county teams in Robertson County. Coach, can you talk about what's been the key to starting strong this season?
Well, to be honest with you, we kind of surprised myself, to be honest with you. We did lose, as you said. We lost a lot last year with 4 key seniors, 4 starters, both my middles, my setter, and my libero. So to be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect coming into this season. We're really young. So I was expecting some growing pains, and but this group, for example, last night we were playing White House and it went 5 sets and we found a way to win it at the end. This group, it's a special group. They find a way to win. They're gritty, and when it matters most, they seem to find a way to win. I really feel like, to be honest with you, one of the keys to our success so far early on is the development of our young setter, Marie Tisdale. She did not play a whole lot her 8th grade year in middle school. And I knew I was losing my daughter, Reese, last year. So we started early on trying to get Marie ready for this moment. And it's big. It's big shoes to fill. Reese was an amazing player, an amazing setter. And Marie came in with not a whole lot of experience. She's only a sophomore. She's doing a very serviceable job. She's given our hitters a chance to hit and to get up and take big swings. And luckily and thankfully, we have some good athletes and some good hitters. And so she's putting up good balls for them, and she's able to go up. She's doing a good job, and they're able to go up and do what they love to do, and take big swings. And So I would say Emma Reed's definitely doing a good job for us. And honestly, the other one is our libero, Kennedy. She's our one senior that starts. She shows a lot of leadership. She does a lot of things that, are not going to show up in the stat book. As far as just, I walk into the gym, the girls are already in their warm up, nets are up, they're warming up, they're already ready to go. It's funny with Kennedy, I see girls sometimes hugging her. She's almost like a mama figure, but then sometimes they're a little scared of her too. I think sometimes like she will get on to them too. So she's just a great leader for us, on and off the court. So I have to give her a little props too from a leadership standpoint, especially with such a young team. But her showing that leadership and what hard work is, and how you go about your business on and off the court, I think has been key for us.
And Coach, you mentioned the word court there a lot. I'd be remiss not to ask about the new court that was kind of implemented that you guys got the chance to welcome in around the midway point so far of this season. I mean, a couple weeks into the year, I believe. I know that there are some different bounces to the court as opposed to what you guys used to have. Can you talk a little bit more about that and maybe what benefit a new court gives you guys?
Well, I know one thing, the girls are super excited to get on the court. We were playing our early matches in the middle school, and I guess an advantage to that was that's where we practiced all summer long, and it's a hot gym, and there's not a lot of room in that gym. So I think our girls were comfortable in that gym, but with the newness of the gym floor, with the excitement of new jerseys, we've got new jerseys this year. We got a new floor this year. I think it just the excitement of it. I think the girls feed off of that. I think they love that kind of thing, and I think it's neat to kind of be the first fall sport team to play on that court, and like I said, it just brings a lot of excitement to the program, I think, in general. So
yeah, you guys are gonna have to give the basketball team some pointers now that you guys are breaking it in. But
well, I tell you what, baseball's won a state championship, basketball's now won a state championship, both in boys. So I've told the team, hey, it's time for the girls to put up a banner in that gym. As far as I know, an East Robertson volleyball team's never made it to state. And I think with this young group, I don't know that we can get there this year. We may or we may not, but the future is bright. I've got the middle school actually won the state last year for their size of school. They won the state tournament, and then I think there's 8 or 10 eighth graders moving up next year. So some good things happening, and it's exciting.
Well, Jamie, I don't know if you've got a crystal ball or maybe access to our sheet here, but that was exactly what we're about to ask you next. If this year might be the first for East Robertson volleyball to make it to state, it's definitely going to be something that we're looking forward to seeing from you guys.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it too. To be honest, we were a little disappointed that we didn't make it last year. We went into we had to go to Sales Creek, and we were up 24-18 in the third set, and that would have put us up 2-1, and let them come back and beat us. And then that was a tough loss. I had four seniors that we really felt like that was our year. And then we come out this year maybe not expecting as much, and these girls have really stepped up to the challenge. And I kind of got to give the girls that played last year a little credit, because they showed what it is to win and be successful. So hopefully it's a culture building thing, and we're building things up, and these girls are learning how to win and learning how to conduct themselves on and off the court. And I've got some really hard workers and a great team, and they all get along, which is huge too. So.
Well, Coach, you've been pounding on the door as a team for a while to go into that sectional round and make it into the state tournament. You've got 2 supporters here, hopefully hoping to see you guys up there in Murfreesboro. Appreciate your time, Coach, and best of luck throughout the rest of this week.
Hey, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for the time and appreciate the support. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks,
you, Coach. Well, Brady, let's take one more break before we wrap up the MSP North podcast here. When we come back, we'll give you our players of the week, our game of the week, and our 1 week segment on the MSP North podcast.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back to the MSP North podcast. We just finished up with 2 great interviews, and now it's time we get into our one thing segment. Blaine, why don't you start us off?
Absolutely. This week, I'm going one player, one moment, one team. So we'll start with the player. Lots of ones in our one thing segment. Devin Crenshaw. If you haven't heard of this guy, what are you? You're sleeping under a rock in Robertson County. If you don't know of Devin Crenshaw, through his first 4 games, he has 12 touchdowns. He's 6'3", 225 pounds. And 8 of his touchdowns have come on the ground. Just kind of absolutely impressive considering his stature, a real dual threat guy. 1 interception and he's hoping to lead Springfield to their third 4-0 start in the past decade with Thursday night's game against Wilson Central. You know, if there was a player that made Springfield run, it's Devin Crenshaw. I think he's obviously the star that everybody knows about, but this team is loaded. I mean, I think Isaac Shelby can kind of tell you that based on last week's interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Isaac Shelby, for anyone who missed it, was telling me after their win against Rossview, he was telling me about their early couple of losses. He said if Springfield's not in the top 4 of 5A, he'd be shocked, and he'd honestly be kind of surprised if they didn't win it all. So, Jackets fans, don't get too excited, but you've got believers out there. Looking on the Montgomery County side, West Creek Soccer. We talked about Madison Bennett last week being becoming the all-time leading scorer in West Creek history. Maybe more impressive is that she set the record for most goals in a season in their 9th game last week again. This week actually on Monday against Sycamore. She had a hat trick. She's just a special player. She's got 29 goals in 9 games. No longer the Max Preps leader in the country, but I think she'll take 3rd place in the country where she stands now. Yeah, and props to Brady there for doing some work on Labor Day. I was surprised to see you out there, but right. Kudos to you, man. I wouldn't have done it, but kudos to you. Let's go to my one moment. Joe Burns football. 15 players were ejected in Friday's fight between the Red Devils and Red Boiling Springs,
With 5 minutes left, Joe Burns was leading 38-7. And a scrum, a brawl, whatever word you want to use,
Some
broke
would
out.
not call it a brawl.
Some would not call it a brawl, but 11 players for Red Blue Wing Springs were ejected, and 4 for Joe Burns were. Malachi Rivera and Isaiah Stevens, as of yesterday, won their appeals with the TSSAA. They will be good to go on Friday, but 3 players for Joe Burns will be suspended this week.
Yeah, that's a crazy situation because as we've been talking about in our staff group chat, is these teams are dangerously close to being 8-man teams as it is. So losing any amount of players to suspensions, like that's putting them dangerously close to not even being able to field a team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Red Boiling Springs has 23, 24 players on their team. So you have a little more than, 2 or 3 subs if all those suspensions held up.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So we'll see how that goes for them. Probably not going to be great, but we'll see. Looking at the Clarksville Academy football team, that's a game that I'm going to be at tonight as they take on Republic. Their defense faltered big time in their first loss of the season, allowing 50-plus points to MJCS. They scored almost 40, but still lost by double digits. So not something that you want to see, especially for the Cougars, who are off to a bit of a promising start, beating up on a couple lesser opponents. Can they get it together is something that I'm going to be looking for. Of course, Republic, not necessarily the most stiff competition that they're going to face this year, but it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back tonight after a pretty shaky loss.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee Christian's never much of a slouch. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, they knocked off reigning state champion DCA this season. But obviously, a get-right game here with not DCA, Republic, who's in their first season after taking a couple of years off.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with my one team. East Robertson Soccer earned its 4th draw in 7 games to start the year. They are 0-3-4. You really, I don't know how great you feel about an 0-3-4 start. Obviously, you're not 0-7. This is not the worst thing in the world, but I think you'd like to win a couple of those games. With Tuesday's 1-1 tie with Creekwood, they did come back from down 1 goal to tie it up, but you're going to need some more goal production if you want to compete in that district. And I think that's probably what Coach Todd Evelsizer is looking for right now, a little more goal production.
Absolutely. And look at my final one thing. I want to look at Rossview Volleyball. This is a team that is kind of historically one of the better in the city, kind of behind Clarksville High, who, of course, has just been dominant for the last several years. But Rossview's currently on a 3-game losing streak, losing to Clarksville High in straight sets, losing to West Creek in a thrilling 5-set match, the third of which went 34-32. I was into the gym for that one. I've never seen a volleyball game go over 2 hours, but now I can say I have. That was a thrilling game. But then they just lost 3-1 to Springfield, who is a good program, but I feel like Rossview probably believes that they can beat Springfield. So interesting to see what's happening with Rossview Volleyball and how they can bounce back from that, especially with a player like Tori James up the middle, who already has D1 scholarships in both volleyball and basketball. I mean, she's a really special athlete, and they'd like to get some winning done while they still have her.
Well, we've talked a little bit about West Creek girls soccer, but it seems like West Creek volleyball might be making a bit of a resurgence here. Would you say that's fair, Brady?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a very solid team. There have been times where they didn't look as good as they can, especially against Clarksville High. That's an easy team to kind of lose your mojo against. They're actually playing them again tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how they do there. But they do have a solid team. I'd definitely put them in at least the top half of the city.
Let's go to our Game of the Week segment. In Robertson County, you're going to want to be at Greenbrier Lawrence County on Friday. It seems like every year we've got some surprise team in Region 5-4A. Last year, it was Montgomery Central in Brady's area. This year, people thought it'd be Greenbrier with Nolan Carson, Nathan Robinson, Travarius Flood coming back, a lot of weapons for the Bobcats. But don't sleep on Lawrence County, who's got 659 rushing yards through 2 games. I mean, absolutely insane. I'll be surprised if they're not running some form of the wing tee. If they're just getting this straight out of the pistol or the gun, they've got some serious athletes, it sounds like. So something's got to give in that game. Nathan Robinson and the defense might hold, or the running game for Lawrence County will stay strong.
Yeah, now we've got a rapid fire here quick, but my game of the week, Rossview and Northeast football, 2 teams that we're not sure how good they are. One has a really good offense in Northeast, one has a really good defense in Rossview. Looking forward to seeing how those 2 clash. That is homecoming tomorrow night at Rossview. My player of the week is gonna be Jamar Carnell, who went for 3 touchdowns against Rossview in the Warfield Shield game, had 6 tackles, had a huge game.
And Travarius Flood, I already mentioned him a second ago for Greenbrier, starred in the Region 5-4A opener against Glencliff. Greenbrier won 48-13, and Flood scored in 4 different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. That's called doing it all. So, but that is going to wrap it up for our MSP North podcast today. Sorry we had to be quick a little there at the end, but you get the idea. Again, this podcast is sponsored by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans, don't let fans drive drunk. Everyone have a happy Friday tomorrow night. Hope the weather stays away, and we'll talk to you next week.